Is Robert the most dangerous doll in the entire world? Or is it just the imagination of those around him? Do you believe it's possible that offending a doll by looking at him without his permission could lead to your untimely death? Robert the doll is known to cause so much tragedy. Countless visitors have been so scared, they wrote letters begging Robert for his forgiveness. The tale goes like this. It's the morning of October 25th, 1906. A young boy called Robert Eugene Otto receives a present from his grandfather. Instead of unwrapping a new trendy toy, Robert Otto was unaware he was unwrapping a one-of-a-kind, haunted doll. It was bought by his grandfather on a trip to Germany. To young Robert Otto, it was the best gift ever. He loved this doll so much, he even named it after him, Robert the doll. To avoid confusion, I will call Robert the doll Robert and his new owner, Robert Eugene Otto, just Otto. Robert the doll was in pristine condition at first. He is dressed in a sailor suit, the same suit that Otto wore as a child. What was once white is now stained with a yellowish tint, possibly from the many years of filth, dust, and lack of fresh air. His beady black eyes never seem to look at you, as if he doesn't care for your presence. His face is worn down, covered in nicks and scrapes. He had 2 small holes in his nose and a small hole in the center of a pink circle, which acted as his mouth. Robert the doll even had his own little doll attached to his hands. It was a small brown dog with the same beady eyes and a small nose. At first, Robert and Otto were inseparable. He took this doll everywhere with him and eventually started blaming the doll for the mischief young Otto would cause. It began with silly, innocent things like blaming Robert for making a mess or eating too many cookies. But as Otto developed into adulthood, he still spoke about Robert the doll as if he was a living being. Robert Otto was now an adult and had his own house, which he liked to call the artist house. He liked to place Robert in the upstairs window to ward off unwelcome visitors, and it worked. The local school children claimed they saw the doll move from window to window, even disappearing to reappear in the same place. This scared the young children so much that they tried to avoid Otto's entire street altogether. Unfortunately, and rather quickly, on June 24, 1974, at the age of 73, Robert Eugene Otto passed away. It's believed he passed peacefully in his sleep from old age. However, Robert the doll was now alone. In the same year, a man called Myrtle Reuter purchased the artist house and was surprised to find a disheveled doll perched on the bed. Myrtle was now Robert's new owner. Unlike Otto, Myrtle had many visitors come into the home. Each one swore blind they heard laughing and footsteps on the floor above. Some even claimed Robert's facial expressions would change if anyone spoke badly about Otto in his presence. Myrtle claimed Robert would move around the house, sit by windows, travel downstairs alone, even hide in some of his possessions. After a long 20 years of mishaps and mischief, in 1994, Myrtle decided to donate Robert to the Fort East Martello Museum, located on Roosevelt Boulevard, Key West, Florida. As of today, Robert is kept in the basement of Fort East Martello. He is locked in a glass case and seen sitting in a wooden chair, still with his little toy dog clasped in his hands. Over the years, the museum has received an overwhelming amount of letters, mostly from visitors asking the staff to apologize to Robert on their behalf for disrespecting him and not asking permission to take his photograph. It's reported that if Robert feels disrespected, he curses the lives of those who offend him. He has caused divorce, broken noses, illnesses, and even death. One visitor in particular, who will remain nameless, had a very odd experience with Robert. As soon as this man walked into the room where Robert was, he began to feel very cold and nauseous. He was so uncomfortable in the room, he quickly took a picture of Robert and left. After getting in his car, he looked at the photo. Still feeling nauseous, he looked down at the blurred photo only to find Robert looking into the camera with an eerie smirk on his face. Freaked out, the visitor decided to drive home. On his way home, he noticed in the car mirror that his nose was bleeding profusely. His car seemed to malfunction, causing the man to spin on a busy street. He was spooked but unharmed, and he considered this a warning. He rushed home, and with blood still smudged around his face, he wrote a letter apologizing to Robert for the disrespect he had shown. Robert has been captured moving in many videos, and some people claim to even see him blinking. He became so famous, rumors spread that Robert inspired the movie Chucky. However, this is not true, and it seems to upset him if mentioned in his presence. If you are brave enough to visit Robert, there is one simple thing you must do to remain safe: show him respect, or face the consequences.